Most people aren't defeated by the size of their problems. They're defeated by their refusal to face them. The truth is, every problem has an answer hiding inside it. But most of us spend our lives running away from the very thing that could set us free. We avoid the hard conversations, the painful truths, the uncomfortable changes. And instead, we build stories to justify our inaction. We say things like, "It's not the right time," or "I'm just waiting for the right opportunity." But deep down, we know it's fear talking, not logic. Life doesn't change by chance, it changes by choice. And the moment we stop avoiding the answer, the moment we face what's really holding us back, everything begins to shift. You can't solve a problem you won't confront, and you can't find answers if you refuse to ask the right questions. The secret isn't in finding a different path. It's in having the courage to walk the one that scares you most. Because that's where growth lies. The weight you feel in your heart isn't the problem, it's the resistance. It's your mind saying, "I don't want to go there." But the answer is there. It's in that call you haven't made, that apology you haven't spoken, that discipline you've been postponing. Every time you delay what you know must be done, you trade progress for comfort. And comfort never built a strong man or woman. The question is not whether you can solve your problems. It's whether you're ready to stop avoiding the truth that's been waiting on you to act. There's a funny thing about answers. They rarely come gift, wrapped in inspiration or convenience. Most of the time, they come disguised as responsibility, as change, as humility. The answer to your financial struggle might not be more money. It might be more discipline. The answer to your loneliness might not be finding someone new. It might be becoming someone worth finding. But we avoid that kind of truth because it demands something from us. It asks us to grow, to stretch, to change our habits and challenge our excuses. We'd rather pray for a miracle than prepare for one. We'd rather hope the world changes than admit we need to. But success, peace, and happiness are never accidents. They're the results of confronting the mirror and saying, "I'm the reason, and I'm the solution." Jim Rohn used to say, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." That one line destroys avoidance. Because when you decide to be better, life gets better. You stop waiting for things to fall into place and start building the place they'll fall into. You stop blaming circumstances and start creating new ones. The answers you're looking for have always been within reach, but they'll never reveal themselves until you stop hiding behind your fears and excuses. When you start facing your problems like a builder faces blueprints, the structure of your destiny begins to rise from the dust of your excuses. Avoidance is a silent thief. It steals your potential one decision at a time. Every day you postpone what you need to do, a piece of your confidence fades away. You start doubting your own power because deep down, you know you've been running from the truth. The weight of an avoided problem grows heavier with time. It doesn't disappear, it multiplies. And then one day, you wake up realizing the mountain wasn't built overnight, it was built from 1,000 days of delay. But here's the beauty. You can reclaim your power the moment you decide to stop avoiding. The moment you say, "I've had enough of excuses, enough of waiting, enough of pretending I don't know what to do." That's when life starts to respect you again. That's when clarity returns. Because the universe doesn't reward avoidance. It rewards courage. Every great person you admire, the leaders, the dreamers, the creators, they all faced something uncomfortable. They all had moments where the easy path whispered, "Run away," but they chose to stay and face it. And that single choice created their legacy. So maybe the answer to your problem isn't out there. Maybe it's been waiting inside you all along, quietly asking, when will you stop running? The moment you turn around and face it, you'll realize The monster wasn't that big. It just grew in the shadows of your avoidance. Most people aren't destroyed by the size of their problems. They're destroyed by their refusal to face them. It's not the mountain that breaks you. It's the pebble in your shoe that you refuse to remove. We live in a world where people would rather decorate their problems than solve them. They'd rather talk about their pain than trace its cause. They'd rather escape reality through distraction, entertainment, or denial than confront the truth that freedom begins where avoidance ends. The answer to your problem isn't hiding in the shadows, it's waiting in plain sight. But here's the catch. It requires courage, not comfort. The reason most people never change their lives isn't because they don't know what to do. It's because they don't want to do what they know they must. That's the trap. It's not ignorance holding you back. It's avoidance disguised as patience, as planning, as perfectionism. You see, the human mind is a clever negotiator. It convinces us that avoiding pain is the same as finding peace. It tells us, you'll deal with it later, and we believe it. But later never comes. Every time we postpone an uncomfortable truth, we push our destiny one step further away. That's why some people spend years in the same place, repeating the same lessons, fighting the same battles. It's not that life is unfair. It's that they keep pressing, repeat, on the same chapter because they're afraid to turn the page. Growth is not about finding easy answers. It's about facing hard realities. The problem isn't the problem. The problem is your relationship with it. You can't conquer what you refuse to confront. You can't change what you're unwilling to see. Think about it. How many times have you said, I know what I should do, but? That but is the barrier between where you are and where you could be. I know I should start saving. I know I should eat better, but I know I should leave that toxic relationship, but every but is an excuse dressed up as a reason. It's the voice of fear whispering, stay where it's safe, while your soul is screaming, move. We all have two choices in life: face the discomfort of growth or live with the discomfort of regret. One pain leads to power, the other leads to decay. And every day, whether consciously or not, you choose which one you'll carry. The truth is, the answers you're searching for are already inside you. You don't need another book, another seminar, or another miracle moment. You need honesty. You need a moment of quiet where you stop lying to yourself about what's really wrong. The call you've been avoiding, the habit you've been ignoring, the effort you've been postponing. That's where your answer is hiding. People think they're waiting for clarity, but clarity doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. When you start moving, even imperfectly, life begins to reveal the next step. The fog only clears for the person who walks forward. But the one who stands still, waiting for the perfect moment, dies in the mist. Avoidance feels safe, but it's the most dangerous place to live. When you run from your problems, you don't escape them, you feed them. They grow stronger, meaner, and heavier with time. A small problem ignored becomes a big one that controls your peace, your focus, your sleep. You start to feel trapped not because life is cruel, but because you've built a cage out of your own avoidance. But here's the good news. You also hold the key. All it takes is one decision to turn around and face what you've been running from. That's how transformation begins, not in a grand gesture, but in a simple act of courage. Maybe it's that phone call you've been afraid to make. Maybe it's admitting that your habits are the reason your dreams aren't real yet. Maybe it's forgiving someone or yourself. Whatever it is, the moment you stop avoiding it, you'll feel the weight lift off your shoulders. Because energy that was trapped in fear starts flowing into action. Confidence doesn't come from knowing the answer. It comes from facing the unknown and surviving it. Every time you confront something you fear, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. And that's how real strength is built, not in comfort, but in confrontation. When you start facing your problems head on, life starts respecting you differently. Opportunities that once seemed invisible start appearing. People begin to see you as someone who means business. Your inner voice changes from "I can't" to "I will." That's the power of responsibility. It transforms weakness into wisdom. You realize that the world doesn't owe you answers. It rewards those who seek them with persistence and honesty. And you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" That single shift changes everything. Life isn't waiting to hand you solutions. It's waiting for you to grow strong enough to see them. The moment you stop running, the path appears. The solution that seemed hidden was always there, but it couldn't reveal itself to someone who refused to look. So maybe your biggest challenge right now isn't finding the answer. Maybe it's having the courage to admit that you already know it. It's been whispering to you all along, through your frustration, through your doubts, through your sleepless nights. The question is, will you listen? Because the truth doesn't chase anyone. It stands still and waits for you to stop running. And when you finally do, when you look it in the eyes and say, "I'm ready," you'll discover something extraordinary. The answer was never missing. You were just avoiding it. There's something powerful about realizing that the answers to most of our problems are not hidden in the clouds. They're hidden in our choices. But the reason so few people ever discover them is because the truth doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes disguised as responsibility, as discipline, as humility. We keep searching for an easier road, hoping that success or peace will somehow land in our laps. But the truth is, answers don't come to those who wish. They come to those who work. The answer to your financial struggle isn't a lottery ticket. It's consistency. It's budgeting. It's saying no to things that don't build your future. The answer to your frustration might not be getting a new job. It might be changing your attitude at the one you have. Life's answers are rarely glamorous. They don't sparkle when they arrive. They look ordinary, they sound simple, but they demand everything from you. We love the idea of improvement, but we resist the process of it. Everyone says they want to grow, but few are willing to go through the fire of growth. That's why Jim Rohn said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." Because wishing for easy will never make you strong. The moment you start saying, "What can I do to be better?" the whole world starts cooperating with you. But when you keep saying, "Why is this happening to me?" life just shrugs its shoulders. Answers don't reveal themselves to the victim mindset. They show up for the builder, for the learner, for the person who takes ownership of their situation. When you step into responsibility, you step into power. You begin to realize that you're not waiting on life. Life has been waiting on you. Avoidance thrives in comfort zones. We tell ourselves we'll change when the time is right, but time doesn't create change. Action does. The right time is whenever you decide to act. The reason most people never find solutions is that they want results without facing responsibility. They want the reward without the work, the transformation without the truth. But that's not how life works. You can't skip the uncomfortable steps and expect to reach a meaningful destination. The answer is often found in the task you've been avoiding, the habit you've been postponing, the conversation you've been afraid to have. Every solution hides inside the action you've been delaying. Take a close look at your life, and you'll see a pattern. Most of your pain comes from avoided responsibility. If your finances are struggling, it's probably not because money hates you. It's because your habits need to change. If your relationships are unfulfilling, it's not because the world is cruel. It's because communication, patience, or boundaries have been neglected. The truth stings because it demands honesty. But honesty is the beginning of freedom. Once you admit the real reason, the answer begins to appear. It's not easy to say, I created this mess. But that sentence is the start of every great turnaround. Once you own your problem, you can own your power. The people who achieve greatness don't have easier lives. They just stop avoiding hard lessons. They learn to see answers in challenges. When something goes wrong, they don't ask, why me? They ask, what can I learn? They see rejection as redirection. They understand that life is a mirror. It reflects what you bring into it. If you bring discipline, it gives you results. If you bring excuses, it gives you delay. The moment you start showing up with the right energy, life starts revealing the right answers. The same world that seemed unfair suddenly becomes full of opportunity, not because the world changed, but because you did. We've been trained to look outward for solutions, to blame, to point, to complain. But the truth is, nothing outside you will change until something inside you does. You can't keep doing what you've always done and expect a new outcome. The answer you're avoiding is usually simple, but it demands a version of you that you haven't yet become. That's why people resist it. It requires a shift in mindset, a change in priorities, and often a sacrifice of comfort. But if you refuse to change, life will keep repeating the same lesson until you do. The same relationship patterns, the same financial stress, the same emotional battles, all circling back, not because life hates you, but because life is trying to teach you something you keep ignoring. When you finally stop running from the truth, something magical happens. Clarity arrives. The fog of confusion starts to lift. You realize that you were never stuck. You were just avoiding the next step. Life rewards the brave. The moment you take full responsibility, your energy changes. You stop waiting and start creating. You stop hoping for a better day and start building one. You become your own answer. That's when momentum returns, when self-respect returns, when you start feeling alive again. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what if it does? Every great comeback begins with one simple realization. I am the answer to my problem. The moment you accept that truth, the universe seems to conspire in your favor. The right people appear, the right opportunities align, not by accident, but because your energy attracts solutions instead of excuses. The world responds to responsibility. It bends toward those who act with intention and courage. You can pray hope or dream all you want, but nothing changes until you decide to face what you've been avoiding. So stop wishing for a life without problems. That's not how you grow. Wish for the wisdom to find answers, the courage to act on them, and the strength to endure what they demand. Because every answer you seek, every solution, every breakthrough, every ounce of peace already exists inside the person you're capable of becoming. But to meet that person, you must first stop avoiding the truth that's been trying to guide you all along. Avoidance is the silent thief of potential. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't strike all at once. It slowly steals your dreams one hesitation at a time. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, a small piece of your power fades away. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you give away a piece of your destiny. The tragedy is that most people don't realize they're losing themselves in the process. They think they're buying time, when in reality, they're selling their future. Avoidance feels safe because it lets you escape the discomfort of truth, but that comfort is a trap. It's a warm blanket that suffocates your potential. You can't hide from your problems and expect your life to rise. The weight you carry isn't from the problem itself. It's from the act of carrying it for too long. Problems don't destroy people. Avoidance does. When you avoid something long enough, it grows. What was once a small issue turns into a mountain. A simple conversation turns into years of resentment. A missed opportunity turns into a lifetime of regret. Avoidance feeds fear, and fear feeds stagnation. The longer you delay action, the harder it becomes to act at all. You begin to lose faith in your ability to fix things. You start believing that it's too late, that you've gone too far. That change isn't possible anymore. But that's a lie your comfort zone tells you to keep you trapped. The truth is, the moment you decide to face what you've been running from, the power of the problem begins to shrink. Courage doesn't erase fear. It simply refuses to let fear make decisions anymore. The weight you feel on your shoulders every morning isn't because you're weak. It's because you're dragging the things you should have let go of long ago. That task you keep postponing, that apology you keep rehearsing but never deliver, that plan you keep rewriting but never start. That's what's stealing your energy. Your mind isn't tired because of work. It's tired because of avoidance. It's exhausted from carrying the guilt of inaction. The moment you take one honest step toward your problem, you'll feel lighter. Because energy that was once trapped in fear suddenly converts into momentum. The same situation that looked impossible yesterday starts to make sense today, because clarity only comes through courage. You've got to stop letting fear decide your fate. Fear is a liar. It shows you the pain of action, but hides the pain of inaction. It tells you, if you try, you might fail. But it never tells you, if you don't try, you'll regret it forever. Fear magnifies what could go wrong while ignoring what could go right. And so, many people spend their entire lives imprisoned by what ifs. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I'm not ready? But the real question is, what if you succeed? What if you surprise yourself? What if everything you ever wanted is waiting on the other side of the thing you've been avoiding? You'll never know until you face it. Think about anyone who has ever achieved something great. They all had reasons to run, but they chose to stay. They faced rejection, fear, criticism, uncertainty, but they faced it anyway. They didn't wait for confidence to appear. They created it through action. Confidence isn't something you find. It's something you build by facing what scares you. Every time you confront a challenge, you earn a new level of respect for yourself. You start trusting your own hands, your own decisions, your own resilience. And that trust is power. The moment you stop running, you realize the monster chasing you was never as big as you imagined. It only looked huge because you kept your back turned to it. The moment you face it, it starts to shrink. Avoidance teaches you to live in circles. You repeat the same year again and again, calling it life. The same goals, the same excuses, the same disappointments. You start telling yourself stories to make peace with stagnation. Maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe this is just who I am. But deep down, you know better. You know you're capable of more. You can feel it in the pit of your stomach. That restless feeling that keeps reminding you you're not living at your full potential. That's your soul begging you to face what you've been avoiding. Because avoidance isn't protection. It's slow self-destruction. You're not saving yourself pain by avoiding truth. You're guaranteeing yourself suffering by refusing to face it. The moment you finally say, enough, the moment you stop running and decide to face the storm, something incredible happens. You realize you were always stronger than you thought. The fear that once paralyzed you becomes fuel. The uncertainty that used to terrify you becomes curiosity. You start seeing problems not as punishments, but as teachers. Every challenge becomes a lesson in disguise. Every setback becomes a test of strength. And suddenly, life starts moving again. Opportunities begin to show up, not because they weren't there before, but because you finally opened your eyes to them. There's a certain peace that comes from facing your problems, not because everything magically gets better, but because you stop living as a prisoner to avoidance. You start walking lighter, speaking clearer, sleeping deeper. You stop carrying the heavy load of unfinished battles. And once you face one fear, you realize you can face them all. That's how self-respect is born, through confrontation. You begin to trust yourself again. You begin to say, I can handle this, and mean it. So look around your life right now. What have you been avoiding? What truth have you been pretending not to know? What step have you been delaying out of fear, pride, or comfort? Whatever it is, that's where your breakthrough lies. The longer you avoid it, the louder it gets. But the moment you face it, the noise fades and clarity takes over. Avoidance is temporary relief with permanent cost. Courage is temporary pain with permanent power. You get to choose which one defines your life. The universe has been waiting for you to take that one bold step, to stop running and start rising. Because the truth is, you were never meant to live in hiding. You were meant to face your problems, conquer them, and stand taller on the other side, stronger, wiser, and free. Let me tell you something straight from the heart. Your life will never change until you face the truth you've been running from. You can pray for peace, you can wish for success, you can dream of freedom, but none of it will come until you stop avoiding the answer to your problems. Every delay steals a piece of your destiny. Every excuse builds a wall between you and the life you were meant to live. The clock is ticking, and time doesn't wait for the hesitant. It rewards the bold, the decisive, the ones who say, I may be afraid, but I'm done hiding. That's the turning point. That's when transformation begins. The difference between the average and the extraordinary isn't talent. It's confrontation. It's the willingness to look at life and say, I created this, and I can change it. It's the courage to stare down your mistakes without shame and use them as fuel for your rise. You see, life isn't testing your comfort, it's testing your courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the face of it. The world belongs to the ones who move, not the ones who wait. So stop waiting for confidence to come. Confidence is built in motion. You get it by doing the thing that scares you, by standing firm when your knees shake, by walking forward when your mind says, turn back. Every problem in your life carries a gift inside it. Every challenge is a mirror reflecting your next level. But most people never open that gift because it's wrapped in struggle, in discomfort, in responsibility. You'll never find your answer hiding under comfort. The answer lives in the stretch, in the grind, in the decision that says, I will not quit on myself. The road to greatness is paved with moments that break you open, not break you down. So stop asking, when will this get easier? And start declaring, when will I get stronger? Because that's the real question. There comes a time when you must stop talking about change and become the change. You've read the books, you've listened to the talks, you've dreamed the dreams. Now it's time to do the work. The answer to your problems isn't out there somewhere. It's waiting in the discipline you've been avoiding, the decision you've been postponing, the action you've been afraid to take. You don't need more time, you need more truth. And the truth is, you already know what to do. You've always known. You just haven't given yourself permission to do it. You can't keep living life like a spectator, watching from the sidelines, hoping something will happen. You are the main character of your story, and no one's coming to rewrite your script. If you want a new chapter, you have to pick up the pen. Don't wait for motivation. Create momentum. Don't wait for a perfect plan. Start with what you have. The universe doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to action. Every step you take toward your problem weakens its power. Every day you face the truth, your confidence multiplies. You must understand this Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. It's showing you where you need to grow, what you need to fix, who you need to become. Don't avoid it. Listen to it. Let it mold you. Jim Rohn once said, "Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons." So ask yourself, what are you carrying? The light weight of discipline or the crushing load of regret? You can't escape one without embracing the other. If you choose the temporary pain of discipline today, you'll live with permanent pride tomorrow. But if you choose the comfort of avoidance, you'll live with the permanent sting of what could have been. The time for excuses is over. No more someday, no more when I'm ready. Readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You prepare by stepping into the fire, not by waiting for the fire to cool. You become strong by facing what weakens you. You become wise by confronting what confuses you. You become unstoppable by refusing to quit when it gets hard. Every great success story starts with a moment of decision. A moment when someone said, "Enough is enough. I'm done running." And that's your moment right now. You've got to stop negotiating with your dreams. Stop asking for permission to live fully. You don't need approval, you need action. You don't need perfect conditions, you need powerful conviction. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the fear you've been entertaining. It's time to evict it. It's time to stop letting hesitation rent space in your mind. You've played small for too long, waited too long, doubted too long. Now it's time to rise. It's time to step into the version of you that doesn't flinch in the face of challenge, that doesn't bow to fear, that doesn't quit when it's uncomfortable. You have two choices from this moment forward. Keep avoiding your problems and live half awake, or face them and live fully alive. You can either keep rehearsing the same story or start writing a new one. The power has always been yours. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the author of your reality. Life is not punishing you. It's preparing you. Every problem is just an invitation to grow stronger, to think deeper, to rise higher. And when you accept that, when you embrace the challenge instead of avoiding it, life begins to open its doors in ways you never imagined. So stand tall, take a deep breath, face the storm. Because storms don't come to destroy you, they come to clear your path. And when it's over, when the dust settles and the sky clears, you'll see yourself in a way you never have before. You'll see that you were never broken. You were being built. You'll see that every answer you ever needed was waiting inside you, quietly whispering, "Stop running. You're ready." And when you finally listen, when you finally act, you'll understand that the greatest victory of all isn't in solving the problem. It's in becoming the kind of person who no longer avoids the answer.